Hey guys, it's Chris and Alexia. We're going to talk about coaches today for weight loss and competitors. A lot of coaches have different backgrounds, methods, and approaches, so it's good to really find the right one for you. Anyone can benefit from coaches, pros, amateurs, weight loss, the yo-yo dieter, everybody.
Now, when it comes to different backgrounds and coaches, for weight loss or competition, clearly, obviously in competition, because somebody's not a registered dietitian does not mean they don't know what they're doing. Obviously, does it give them a little more solid science background and understanding of nutrition? Yes, of course. Does it give them more understanding of nutrition disease? Yes, of course. But it's not the end all in that type of avenue. So if you are a weight loss and you're looking for diabetes management or GI disorders, you do want to look with somebody who is a registered dietitian and not just a general nutritionist, because by law now in certain states it's different. Anybody can be a nutritionist. And as far as people benefiting, I hear a lot of people say, well, if they're really so good, why do they need a coach? Well, why does Michael Jordan need a coach, who's the best basketball player arguably of all time? Everybody has having an outside eye, an outside view of something clearly is beneficial. Hence, when people in marital counseling go see somebody who has an outside opinion, having outside opinion, outside view, when somebody has more knowledge maybe of the sport or strategy or different ways of doing things, can benefit the individual. Doesn't mean an individual has to sit there and follow everything to a T or agree with anything, provided there's communication there. So it goes to show that you can have a coach, you may not, but it's got no reflection of the individual's capability themselves if they have one or not. Because I hear that a lot, and I don't like that. Too many people put little black and whites on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, first thing you should do is really do your research. Contact people who have actually worked with the people that you are trying to look for. Contact them directly, through email, talk to them on the phone, go to their website, see their testimonials. But the main thing you should do is really talk to someone that has worked with them personally.
And find somebody that is not a genetic freak, okay? The individual that wins and crushes the show, and he tells you he worked with Joe Blow, and you come to find out that's his first show, he only dieted for 4 weeks, and he's only trained for a year. Probably not the best individual to ask. Asking somebody who's changed, you've seen progress over years, or they do better and better in shows as years go on, that's something more like you want to ask. Asking those genetic freaks is like asking the rich kid who inherited his dad's fortune on how to make money. Clearly he doesn't know because he already has it. So really make sure you know who you're asking, and ask more than one person.
Yeah, and that will actually help you find your right fit. Since they do have so many approaches, you have some that do macros, some that do set plans where you just pick the foods and go. But you really need to find, a personalized fit, not a cookie cutter plan, not someone who just passes out plan in 2 minutes. You have it in your email. Find someone that knows your goal, really finds out information about you to make your plan to fit your need.
And not just that, and what she means by personalized too is a lot of people are like, well, they have 4 meals, I have 4 meals.
Yeah.
They're 600 calories, I'm 600 calories. Well, you're both female, you're both 5'3". So obviously when someone coaches starts on something, they have to start somewhere and work through it. Mm-hmm. Personalized more meaning you do whatever it takes for that individual to progress. Whether it's a high fat, moderate protein, low carb, or high carb, moderate protein, low fat, whether it's keto, whether it's carb cycling, whether it's count your macros. There's so many different methods, tools people use to lose weight or get in contest shape. Hence, that everybody's going to show doesn't all follow the same diet strategy, that is.
And again, same thing doesn't work for everybody.
Correct. Same thing doesn't work, or even the same person next time around. Mm-hmm. So personalize this, and when you ask a philosophy of a coach, what's your philosophy? And they're like, straight keto, totally superior. No, total moron. So if somebody goes, well, generally keto might work, this might work, that might work. You really do manipulate the nutrients, macros, any way that is required to get the individual to resolve. Progress. Some people might do really well on a keto diet with intermittent refeeds. Somebody might not. So in reality, there should be no black and white when that question's asked.
Find a coach who's honest with you. Not one that's going to be like, okay, you want to do a show and it's 8 weeks away, and you're like, do you think I'll kill it on the stage? You're like, yes, definitely, send me my money. You need to find someone that's going to actually take a look at you honestly and be like, okay, actually, I really think that we need to get your metabolism right, or I think we need to take extra time to get you where you need to be before you even think about a show. You need someone that's going to be blatantly honest with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. A lot of people will give people false hopes. Yeah, you could definitely do a show. Write me a check for $1,000. I'll give you your diet. No. So in that stance, you got to be realistic with individual when it comes to where they are, where they need to be, and find a good background, because I see a lot of that where people are like, oh, they said you could be ready by that time. No, not necessarily. And this is the question everybody always asks. Coach, when do you think I'll be ready to win? Well, obviously it's bodybuilding, it's a competition, so it's really all more or less who you're going up against.
Very subjective.
Very subjective. I mean, you could be the best. You could put on 20 pounds, look shredded, look great, and standing by yourself, man, you look awesome. Shredded to the bone, full, rock hard, and then go to a show where 8 other guys look like that, but they're just bigger. So you never know. So obviously, clear as day, is you don't want somebody to step on the stage and be like, whoa, like they shouldn't be up there. That's one thing. But really, to answer the question if you're going to win is really a whole nother, because you never want to promise somebody, tell somebody they're going to win, and they don't, then they're pointing at you. So that's another thing I stay away from. If somebody goes, yeah, you're going to win.
If they say, I'll try my best to get you to your best, then that's a win.
Yeah, it's getting you to your best. Once you hit your best, then it's just rolling the dice, because you don't know who's showing up.
Yeah. When you get a coach, you really want to follow their lead. Don't just, follow their plan for 3 weeks and do it 70% and then say, oh, it didn't work. I don't like this coach. Move forward. Really give it 100%. Follow them. Be consistent. Really try to do their program in full. If it doesn't work for you, maybe that's not the best fit. And then keep going. Find the right fit.
Right. It's like in the coach world where people always say, and, you inquire, they're like, hey, I've had like 4 coaches and it hasn't really worked out. And then you're like, oh, well, when did you start? They're like 8 months ago. I'm like, so you went through 4 coaches in 8 months? Red flag. That could be because of you as an individual that's not jiving well with just the sport in itself.
Or you're not ready yet.
You're not ready
to
mentally.
be consistent.
Right. Consistency is key, because everything's based on consistency. So you got to trust the process. If you're an individual that constantly keeps worrying, I don't know if I should do this, do that, reading this magazine, then you're going to manipulate yourself to fail, and it's not the coach's fault.
And when the coaches make the plan, they're progressive, so they can only change based on your consistency. So you wouldn't know how you do with that coach and their approaches, basically, if you're not 100% inconsistent. Also, what to look out for is a lag time communication with coaches. If they don't get back to you in 4 days, 5 days, you're trying to contact them constantly and they're not getting back to you, that's a red flag. You might not be a good fit with them, and you might want to look for somebody else that's actually more communicative with you.
Because communication is the key to success in a relationship. It's a key to success in a business. It's a key to success from your boss to your workers. So when it comes to especially competing in weight loss, without communication, you have nothing. If you're paying somebody big money to get into shape, look great, reach your nutrition goals or sports goals or whatever, you should get an answer within a day, 24 hours. And if it's contest time, it should be like 8 hours. And if it's a week out, it should be less than that. Mm-hmm. Provided you're not sending it at midnight and the person's sleeping.
And the day of the show, you should be in contact with your coach.
Yeah, day of the show, day before, it should be on the hour. And that is really what you should be doing. So, if you tend to send an inquiry and you don't get a response back for 3 days and there's no explanation, or you send it for 4 days, you don't hear back, send another one, and then he answers right away, it might have not gone through. Mm-hmm. But it's suggested probably to hire the individual for a month or more in the off season to see how they operate, see if you guys jive well, and then move forward. And this is the other thing, we tell you all this information and what you can put together to find the best coach for you as an individual. But you also, once you pick the coach and you're ready, you really have to follow through. You have to trust the process. Mm-hmm. If you don't trust the process and follow through, it's not going to work. You're going to manipulate yourself to fail. So I hope you guys got some good information about that. We're not saying that we're your coaches or anything, but being in the industry for a while, being a coach myself for a few years.
Also the questions people ask.
People ask about coaches, hearing all the horror stories of people ending up in the hospital, or people being abandoned 3 days out. So all this information is key for you to find somebody who matches, so those horror stories aren't you.